Hello guys, good day. This is Anna of Reinforce Me Club. Today we are going to talk about alcohol-related liver cirrhosis or alcohol-related liver disease. How alcohol kills the liver with a motto of killing me softly by alcohol. So I'd say killing me softly because this type of disease is progressive. It starts from, small, teeny tiny habit down to addiction, the worst part. So from chronic alcohol consumption down to fatty liver, which happens to almost 90% of heavy drinkers, down to alcoholic hepatitis, which means that there is already an existing inflammation of the liver, which happens 10 to 35% of heavy drinkers, down to liver cirrhosis. So when you say cirrhosis, it is the scarring of the liver. At that point, the liver is already dysfunctional. It's not working properly in the long run, leading to this so-called liver failure. Now, this is what we are going to talk about today. Our mighty liver has six main functions. Mighty, super liver. Now, the basic one is the production and secretion of bile, which involves in the breakdown of fats into fatty acids. So this bile is actually stored in the gallbladder. So that's the basic one. Another function of the liver is for the sake of biosynthesis. Biosynthesis means production of enzymes and chemical compounds for the sake of the production of our plasma protein. And our plasma protein involves albumin. Albumin holds the body fluids in the plasma, so it won't leak out, causing to obviously, as what we see, to sick people having edema or ascites. Now, another plasma protein that we have is the clotting factors. So if bleeding happens, those blood which involves to stop bleeding, to clot the blood, cover up the wound, that's the clotting factors. That's their job. Another function of the liver, which is still involved in the biosynthesis, is the production of antibodies, which help us fight against infection. Lastly, liver involves in the production and the creation of the blood components. Liver is the main contributor in the making of our red blood cells, especially our antibodies. Now, the third main function of the liver is metabolism. Metabolism means the conversion of chemical components into another. For example, the basic one, carbohydrates into glycogen. In case of emergency, by glycogenesis, that's how the liver converts carbohydrates so that the body can use it for emergency, if ever the body needs an energy. So that's the job of the liver, as well as it also processes proteins so that our muscles can able to use it. Another big job of the liver is fats. It actually synthesizes fatty acids, and then it will be distributed. For women, it will go to the abdominal area, to the hips, and for men, could be the muscles, part of the muscles, or belly. So that's also the job of the liver to export fats where it is needed. Another job of the liver, which is under metabolism, is the removal of our old red blood cells, which is, the liver has the ability to engulf by means of phagocytosis, engulf the damaged or old RBCs and recycle some, as well as make another number of RBCs. In the most part, liver regulates our blood volume. So the fourth main function of the liver is storage. So in the liver, it's where the carbohydrates was already been processed, which is called glycogen, is being stored, as well as the vitamins, namely A, B12, D, and K, including iron. The fifth main function of the liver is filtration. Now, in the liver, we have this so-called Kupffer cells, which is the resident, or it actually mainly lives in the liver. These are the liver-specific macrophage, which protects and defends the liver from any infection. Now, under filtration, the liver also eliminates ammonia, which is toxic. Ammonia is being produced by the bacteria in the gut. What I'm trying to say is intestine, in order to process proteins. And the job of the liver is that it converts ammonia into urea, and it will be excreted from the body by means of urine. In the name of infection, liver produces wide variety of innate immunity that directly kills bacteria to fight infection. And lastly, detoxification. Detoxify drugs, toxins, steroids, and alcohol with the help of its sister company, which is within the neighboring organs, kidney. Now, these are the main thing, loads of reasons why you have to be a liver lover. Because if you have a healthy liver, if you look after yourself, you're going to be awarded with good health and well-being. And if you have good health, you can make use of your time effectively, whatever you want to do in this planet. How much alcohol can damage your liver? So this is just a quick, simple calculation about how much alcohol we can take from the drinks that we're ordering from the pub or bar. Now let's take the basic one, Kopparberg cider, of 500 ml in one can. So in one can at 500 ml, it contains 4.5% of alcohol. Now let's calculate the number of, the amount of alcohol we can get from that can. So 500 ml of Kopparberg cider times 4.5, because it says there 4.5% alcohol in 500 ml, divided by 100, it's equal to 22.5 grams of alcohol from that one can, which is not bad, not even too bad. So that's just the basic level of alcohol. Here's the catch. Our liver can process 10 grams of alcohol every hour. Plus its job, it's 6 different jobs. Our liver has its own superpower, and it even repairs itself, which means that a heavy drinker can have ample of chance to really make it up to his liver. So that's what I'm trying to say. Otherwise, in the end stage of liver disease, there'll be no more chance. It's going to be irreversible. Now, speaking about the risk factors of alcohol-related liver cirrhosis, we have 2 attributes to tackle. The first one is the predisposing factor, which is already pre-existing and there's nothing you can do about it. And the second one is the precipitating factors, in which any person could already have this, and this makes them prone to develop liver cirrhosis. Now, speaking about predisposing factor, women tend to develop, or should I say, women have higher risk to develop alcohol-related liver cirrhosis than men, because they have lower level of ADH. So this ADH is an enzyme which converts alcohol into acetate, and it will be released and discharged into the bloodstream. So that is why women are at higher risk to develop liver injury for prolonged alcohol use. Now, another factor under predisposing is the genetic factor. So there is what we call PNPLA3 gene, which is usually present in the non-alcoholic fatty liver disease patients. So what happens if you have this PNPLA3 genes? It actually instructs the body to produce more fats, but decrease fat breakdown, decrease fat synthesis. And those fats will be primarily stored just in the liver. Now, on the other side, the precipitating factors. So these attributes have already been, in the person or in the patient, which is hemochromatosis. Could be those. These are actually underlying diseases. Hepa B and C virus, fatty liver, type 2 diabetes, obesity, malnutrition, and of course, daily drinking or binge drinking. Now, let's talk about how liver becomes cirrhotic from healthy to dysfunctional liver. So, there's actually two main enzymes involved in the conversion of alcohol. So, number one is the alcohol dehydrogenase. This is the ADH, which is, in which women have a lower level of ADH. Not all of them, some of them. So this particular enzyme involves in the oxidation and the reduction of alcohol in the body. Now the second enzyme, which is actually dangerous, a little bit dangerous if you don't stop drinking, it is called the cytochrome P4502E1 or the CYP2E1 enzyme, which is only activated by induced fatty liver disease. And it actually ignites more liver damage. Let's dive into the ADH enzyme. So, ADH enzyme by our super liver, it is also called as alcohol dehydrogenase, converts alcohol into acetaldehyde. This acetaldehyde substance is toxic to our body or to the liver itself. Then, by the help of ALDH enzyme, which is also a residential cell in the liver, acetaldehyde will be converted into acetate, then it will be released to the bloodstream and get rid of by the kidney. However, there are people who have low level of ALDH. So ALDH actually, other than converting acetaldehyde into acetate, it involves in the liver cells regeneration and also it prevents liver from any injury. So for those people who have low level of ALDH enzyme, they will experience the toxic effects of acetaldehyde, which is facial flush, nausea, headache, and fast heart rate, which happens when someone drinks an alcohol. Now, in the long run, still the person is not stopping, it's still drinking more alcohol, heavy drinkers every day. Now, this constant, repair and regeneration of the liver cells, which is actually good, but the downside is, now here's the consequence. This will lower the fat oxidation, okay? But it increases fat synthesis. Plus, this acetaldehyde, which is toxic in the liver, it also compromises the fat metabolism, which means that the fats will stay in the liver. Alcohol is known to decrease export of fats from the liver. So it won't be distributed to the different parts of the body. It will stay in the liver, resulting to fatty liver disease. Now, the signs and symptoms of fatty liver disease is, in the ultrasound, there will be enlargement of the liver or hepatomegaly. Most of the time, there will be no symptoms, felt by the patient or the person. And of course, this is reversible. Then, what if, just what if, the person wouldn't stop drinking because alcohol is cool for some other reasons? the person will never stop drinking and drinking alcohol. We're going to the second part. So chronic alcohol use triggers the enzyme called the CYP2E or the cytochrome P450-2E1, which is only triggered by induced fatty liver disease. So expect more liver damage. In a way that once the person, like alcohol is already, once a person is already, you know, being attached to alcohol or addicted to alcohol. So what happens is once the person takes alcohol, it will be converted into acetaldehyde by means of this CYP2E1, okay, which is already toxic, in a way that it also triggers the liver to produce reactive oxygen species or ROS. Now, here's the catch. This ROS or reactive oxygen species damages the proteins and DNA of the liver. ROS or reactive oxygen species also triggers the hepatic macrophage to repair itself to the point that the liver is going to get inflamed more. Plus, this acetaldehyde adds up more and more inflammation to the liver because it is toxic to the body and the liver itself. Now, we are going down to to alcohol-induced hepatitis. So what's going to happen to the person or the patient? He will experience fever, fatigue, jaundice, and painful enlarged liver or painful hepatomegaly when a doctor will do his assessment and then try to press the upper right quadrant of the abdomen, where the liver is located. The liver is totally enlarged. Now, in the long run, the person still wouldn't stop drinking. A solid fan of alcohol for life. Now, what's going to happen to the liver? It will never give up because we have a super liver. So, what's going to happen is the liver will keep subsequently repair itself to the point that those inflammation will become scars. So scar tissue, scarred liver. So that is now what we call liver cirrhosis, which is irreversible. No more chance. The liver, our super liver, have already given us loads of chance to stop drinking and stop destroying our precious liver. And once the liver is already scarred and fibrotic, that those fibrosis or scarred liver disrupts its internal function to our body. Now, here we go. This is the sad part when a person is going to have liver cirrhosis because of drinking. It will lead to liver failure. Now, what's going to happen if the person is already having alcohol-induced liver cirrhosis or cirrhotic liver? So, the common thing that's going to happen or will surely happen is what we call portal vein hypertension. Now, we're going to tackle the consequences. Now, what's going to happen when a person have a portal vein hypertension, so high pressure in the portal vein, which is located in the liver? So, the first thing that's going to happen is that the blood stream or the blood flow, sorry about that, the blood flow from the intestine goes to the liver. And the toxins that is supposed to be detoxified by the liver is already present in the bloodstream, especially ammonia. Now, in the absence of liver, this ammonia will go to the bloodstream. And then it actually wanders itself to the degree that it will destroy the brain if it's already to the highest level. So if it goes to the brain and it damaged the brain, that is the condition that is called hepatic encephalopathy. Brain damage which is caused by the liver because because of ammonia. Now, what are the signs and symptoms of hepatic encephalopathy? Confusion, drowsiness, tremors, restlessness, and the worst part, coma. Now, another consequence of having a portal vein hypertension is, bleeding varices. So it happens in our esophagus. We have veins in the esophagus, which actually becomes enlarged, resisting the pressure from the portal vein. So these veins are enlarged but weak. So the person or the patient is prone to bleeding. Plus, because of the liver damage, the patient or the person has already have low capacity to do the clotting inside the body because of the liver damage. Other than that, the spleen will also be enlarged, which is medically termed as splenomegaly, because it is also victimized by portal vein hypertension. And another thing that you're going to observe, ascites. Ascites is you know the the edema, which is obviously present in the abdomen. So our abdomen has it's where the fats are stored, and it has the ability to absorb excess fluid from the plasma to to the fats, the subcutaneous part of our abdomen. So what's going to happen if the ascites of the patient or the person is worse? Too much fluid is stored in the abdomen, so they find it hard to breathe. So what's the doctor is going to do? They're going to drain the excess fluid from the abdomen. That is what we call paracentesis, or could be drainage of acidic fluid. So that's also, you can also hear that in the hospital. So I guess I've said everything I need to say today. And the liver has actually a superpower, has the main purpose in our life. So be a liver lover. A liver have done a lot of things to keep us alive so we can live this life worthwhile. Make this life worthwhile, shall I say it this way. So be a liver lover once again. This is Anne of Reinforce Me Club telling you, you never lose, you either win or learn. So happy days. Thank you very much for your time. Have a lovely day ahead.